Liu Prima Paspamol is a young girl who was bullied because of her appearance. At school, she was very vulnerable and was humiliated because everyone around her considered her ugly. Now, she has become phenomenally beautiful, so much so that it even attracts extra attention to her. Parents visit their daughter on the eve of the start of her university studies to find out if she is satisfied with her appearance now. Carefully examining herself in the mirror, Liu estimates her appearance at 85 points out of 100 possible and considers it a great result. She is even more pleased with the fact that visually it is impossible to realize that before she was a scary monster and a laughingstock. Going to the university, the girl is afraid to enter the auditorium and scrutinizes the students so as not to meet among them her acquaintance from school. Students live their lives and do not pay attention to anyone. It seems that she doesn't know anyone and can only evaluate the appearance of the girls, among them strict Anna, charming Mimi, and incredibly beautiful Faye, whom Liu estimates at 100 points. At one point a guy appears behind her and Liu is shocked, for it is Guy, an incredibly rich student whose parents own hotels and who is also her former classmate. Realizing that he didn't recognize her, Liu pretends that they haven't seen each other before. Once in the auditorium, she sees the close attention of the students and realizes that they can guess about the plastic surgeries. Liu is terrified of ridicule and bullying, but the beautiful Faye offers to be her friend. At the end of the first couple, Guy wants to approach the girl to talk, but Faye helps her escape in time. A little later, the girls pray in front of a symbolic altar, and Liu confesses that he dreams of being a perfumer who has created his own brand. In the evening, the classmates gather at a cafe to choose a couple to represent the chemistry department. The unanimous decision among the guys chooses Guy, because he is a real handsome and smart guy. As for the girls, the votes are equally divided between Liu and Faye. The shy girl thinks that the beauty Faye should participate, but she refuses in favor of her friend. They find her too beautiful, sweet, and honest, which touched Liu. Unable to deceive her friends and afraid that Guy will expose her, the girl admits that her appearance is the result of plastic surgery. Feeling embarrassed, she runs away, and Guy says something insulting in her way. Soon he goes outside to tell her the truth. Guy thinks Faye is a horrible person and has said bad words to her, assuming she knew about Liu's plastic surgeries beforehand. Faye dreams of becoming Guy's girlfriend and is willing to do anything to destroy anyone who might become her competition. Liu doesn't believe that Faye is capable of meanness and for nothing, because the girl really saw her photo before the changes and set up everything on purpose. She offers to support Liu and send her to the contest, but many do not agree, because of which Liu becomes a victim of ridicule, because many people consider her a plastic doll. Distressed, the girl does not want to communicate with Guy, but he grabs her hand. At the same moment, Saint, a senior student who has a crush on Liu, appears and asks the guy to let go of her hand. A conflict arises between Saint and Guy, as the classmate wants to communicate with the girl and figure things out, and the older guy prevents this by trying to protect her. To resolve the dispute, Saint suggests that Liu should decide for herself what she wants. The girl asks for his protection and runs home to avoid continuing the conversation with Guy. On her way home, she notices that someone is following her and is very afraid. Hurrying home, the girl asks her neighbor to protect her from the maniac, but soon she meets Saint. As it turns out, the man missed him since the guy lives with her in the neighboring apartment. After learning this, she remembers that her parents warned her about a handsome neighbor from whom she can always ask for help. The next morning, Liu sees a bunch of insults in the comments because she doesn't have real beauty. Her parents call their daughter to see if she's doing well and even bet money to see what her answer will be. Liu reassures them that everything is fine, but Saint intervenes in the dialogue. As it turns out, he has managed to meet and befriend her parents, so he tells them the whole truth, embarrassing the girl. Saint offers friendship and protection, because he promised that to her parents. Noticing that Faye defends her on social media, Liu believes that she is a good girl and could be her first real friend. When the girls meet, they discuss what happened, and Faye proposes to give up the beauty contest and draw up a petition to cancel it altogether. Meanwhile, Guy remembers that he was friends with Liu and even invited her to a perfume store so that she could choose a suitable fragrance. She lost her perfume last night, but Guy wants to return it to her. After class, he returns the perfume and tries to explain everything, but Liu doesn't want to communicate, thinking that Guy is a bad person. In her opinion, he never protected her and acted more horribly than the others. Recalling a trip to the perfume shop, she talks about how Guy purposely chose a fragrance that he hates. In fact, he was trying to find a topic of conversation, but the girl misunderstood it. He always defended her and drove away bullies, but Liu didn't notice it, believing that Guy treats her even worse than the others. Mac, at the request of Saint, protects the girl from the annoying Guy. Despite his promise to his older comrade to keep the girl safe, Mac wants to use her and discusses it with his friends. Anna and Guy hear his devious plan and want to interfere to protect the knave Liu. A little later, Mac confesses his love to the girl and proposes dating. Asking for time to think, she hides in the restroom. Liu is very scared as she has never had a boyfriend, but decides to accept Mac's proposal. At the same time, Faye tells him that she is in love, but will not interfere with their happiness. When Liu returns, Mac rudely rejects her, hoping for a relationship with Faye. At the same time, the pretty girl defends her friend and offers to leave. Mac rushes after them, but Guy trips him as punishment, causing the guy to fall and look pathetic. Realizing that it was no accident, Mac attacks Guy with his fists, but proves to be too weak and gets hit in the face. Enraged, he throws a chair at Liu, but Guy saves her, after which he beats the guy up even harder. Before leaving, Guy promises Liu to protect her and warns her that Faye will be the next person he exposes for duplicity and deceit. Liu doesn't understand why the guy doesn't trust her friend, since Faye is always there for her and supports her in her time of need. A little later, Mac complains about Guy as a bully who attacked him. Guy is summoned, but he does not deny his guilt. Soon Saint, who has a videotape of the incident, is called as a witness. He confirms that Guy attacked Mac, but he also has a video of a comrade hurting Liu and treating her badly. Saint can severely punish Mac for treating the girl badly, so he has to take the blame for the fight. Guy thanks Saint for being honest, but they still can't be friends since they both have feelings for Liu. Faye invites Liu to the perfume parlor, where she admits that she told Mac about her liking. The pretty girl claims that she did it intentionally to test the guy's feelings, because he is a real womanizer and often deceives girls. In the evening, the younger sister treats the wound on Guy's arm, and he asks her to delete all the videos of the fight from social networks, since she is a good hacker. Gail complies with her older brother's request, but too late, as their influential father knows about the incident and decides to punish the kids financially. Noticing an old family photo, Guy snaps off his mother and throws part of the photo in the trash. The next morning, Saint is persistent and offers Liu his friendship and help in times of need. Meanwhile, Faye manipulates Mac and reiterates that she loves him. She says that their happiness is being hindered by Liu, and it would be good if she disappeared. Guy takes this as a wake-up call because he dreams of being together with Faye. In fact, he is not a womanizer, but a pathetic guy who is rejected by everyone, so he is ready for any meanness. Faye tries to communicate with Guy and find out what school he went to, but the rich man rudely rejects her. Mac finds a photo of Liu before plastic surgery and blackmails her, demanding a meeting. In the conference room, he asks not to interfere with their happiness with Faye, but the girl does not understand what this is about, because she does not love the guy and does not want a relationship with him. Soon Mac gathers all the classmates to publicly humiliate Liu. Upon learning of his scheme, Anna and Guy rush to the rescue. Guy attacks Mac, and the boys fight again. Guy injures his arm but beats Mac severely, breaking the remote control and his cell phone. Mac manages to send a photo of Liu to his friends, causing everyone to laugh at the girl, thinking she was ugly. Disappointed, Liu runs away, and Guy follows her, but near the girl's house he notices her in Saint's arms. Bleeding from a deep wound on his arm, Guy decides not to disturb the couple and leaves for the nearest cafe. Soon he and Saint meet in the store and discuss what happened. Liu's neighbor thanks her classmate for his help and protection, but promises to protect her just as well, since he lives near the girl and can always be there for her. The next morning, Mac and Guy are called to the teacher's office because of a repeated fight. Guy studies well, so he is not afraid of punishment, but Mac systematically violates the rules of behavior, and it is decided to suspend him from school. To spike the feud, Guy offers Guy his help to try to find the person who sent him an old photo of Liu. After learning that it was an anonymous person from Faye's fan chat room, Guy registers on the app and starts following the girl. He assumes that the chat administrator and Faye are the same person, so he writes messages to the group, provoking her to respond. Noticing that the messages come at the same time as she picks up her phone, Guy tries to expose the beauty, but is mistaken, as the administrator continues to write messages even at that moment. Meanwhile, Liu misses school, but Saint doesn't let her ignore gaining knowledge. He is willing to be her teacher and shows her the garden as well as a small perfume and fragrance lab. As it turns out, Saint is an aspiring perfumer who is trying to create his own brand and sell perfumes, but he needs a good expert and assistant to do it. Liu would like to take the position and help her neighbor, but he thinks the freshman is incapable of it. In the evening, Saint and Liu go to a fragrance exhibition, where the girl has the opportunity to meet influential people from the world of perfumery. She chose this profession thanks to Linda, a woman who created her own perfume brand. Liu admires her and quotes the woman's words, enjoying the flavors of her new perfume. It turns out that Linda is also present at the party and thanks the girl for complimenting her. Showing interest in Liu, the woman invites her to a cafe to socialize and tells her about how she started her business. Linda has lost a lot and most of all regrets the spoiled relationship with her son. At this moment, Guy appears in the cafe, from which it becomes clear that he is Linda's son, with whom she would like to reconcile. Seeing her son behind her, the woman tries to talk to him, but he is adamantly opposed to any rapprochement. Linda asked Liu to help establish a relationship with her son, and the girl tried to do this, but the plan failed. Guy clearly remembers how his mother went crazy about perfume and searching for scents, after which she fell into depression, and then abandoned the family, leaving with another man. A little later, Liu and Linda are having tea when suddenly the girl realizes that the female perfumer has no sense of smell. Linda tells the truth that her husband was not a perfect man and was often jealous of her, of a coworker, and of her work. This soon ended with him beating his wife, causing her to lose her sense of smell. Her husband practically threw her out on the street after her depression, so Linda left, losing her children but promising to come back for them. Liu tells Guy everything, and he decides to confront the mother to see if she's telling the truth. Convinced that Linda does not have the ability to distinguish odors, Guy and Gail pack up and go to live with their mother. Soon after, Guy realizes that he is old enough and would like to live on his own. Linda guesses that her son likes Liu and wants to rent an apartment closer to her and supports his aspirations. Liu realizes that in high school the boy didn't mean to hurt her, he just hated his mother and her job as a perfumer. Now that they have sorted out the past, Guy and Liu reconcile and become best friends, starting to spend a lot of time together. During one of their outings, the girl gives Guy a perfume, and he gives it his own name. Dreaming of being closer to Liu, Guy wants to rent an apartment in the same building as her, but the places are occupied. Saint argues that Guy has little chance, since it's rare for anyone to move in here. Soon one apartment owner does leave, and this makes Saint nervous, but luckily for him, there is still a whole line of people ahead of Guy wanting to rent. At the university, they are preparing for the fair, and Faye asks Liu to help her as a waitress. The girl refuses because of her indecent outfits, but accidentally injures her friend in chemistry class. Being overly conscientious, Liu agrees to Faye's requests on the condition that the fair organizers change the design of the waitress's costumes. Liu deceives Anna and Guy that she is in trouble with her parents, so as not to say that she agreed to help Faye. Soon the fair begins, but unfortunately the outfits are still just as revealing. People know that Liu is the result of plastic surgery, so they think it's okay to humiliate and touch her. The contest organizers also support Faye and do not appreciate Liu, so they send her to the strangest clients. The guys openly humiliate the girl, forcing her to clean and pick up trash. They film the girl on camera and offer money to touch her, which makes the job all the more humiliating. The manager informs Guy that the apartment is vacant and he can rent a place in their building. At the same moment, Anna writes to him and informs him that Liu is being harassed. Realizing that the fate of the girl is more important to him, Guy rushes to the fair and protects Liu, becoming the fourth waiter, Morg continues to be jealous of Guy and Faye, assuming that they are a couple. In the evening, it turns out that Liu has become the best waitress and the job suits her perfectly. Such compliments offend the girl, so she leaves. Guy does not see her off as Morg offers an alcoholic competition in which the prize will be Faye. Guy accepts the terms and wins, but refuses the pretty girl, as she is not a thing and it is important to ask the girl's opinion instead of deciding everything for them. Liu is depressed, so she calls her parents and asks for their support. Guy hopes to sign the rental papers, but it turns out that Saint did everything instead of him, as he is ready for a fair competition for the girl's heart. The next morning, Liu learns that now her neighbor is not only Saint, but also Guy. The guys are constantly fighting with each other because of their different views on life, but there is something that unites them, a crush on Liu. For her sake, they are ready to do anything and decide to help the girl to overcome the traditions of the fair, so that waitresses do not wear sexy outfits. Liu holds a meeting with the organizers and waitresses, suggesting to change the classic approach and try something new. Seeing the girls in inflatable zebra and unicorn outfits, Fim is outraged, believing they will have no customers and good revenue. The girls decide to prove otherwise as Liu uses scent magic to attract visitors. There are more and more guests and everything seems to be perfect, but at some point Faye faints. Many people take photos of the half-naked girl, which leads to conflicts. While Faye is carried to the medical room, Fim orders a return to her old outfits and fires Millen, who organized it. Liu defends her and brings the aggression on herself, but Guy defends her. Soon everyone is on their side, and Fim has to come to terms with the new approach to running the fair. In the evening, all the students of the faculty become waiters and impress people with their creative ideas. Saint waits for Faye to come to her senses and decides to talk to her. He realizes that she manipulated Mac and others to hurt Liu. He is not going to put the girl in danger and will keep an eye on Faye to make sure she doesn't hurt Liu again. Meanwhile, Liu and Guy spend time together and thank each other for helping them. At one point, they are invited to a speed dating game, but the couple doesn't want it. To quickly leave the table, they say they are in love with each other, but the girl knocks over a glass of drink on herself. Guy offers to change clothes, and they end up in a room to prepare for the fair. The door is accidentally blocked, and Guy and Liu's phones are turned off, so they can't call for help. After changing clothes, the girl thanks him for lying, but Guy admits that he really likes her and what he said at the speed dating table was true. Liu takes Guy's words as a joke or acting, but he convinces her that it's all real. Realizing that he is really in love, a frightened Liu runs away under a formal excuse since she can't say anything back to him. Upon returning home, Liu and Guy think about texting each other, but never decide to. The next morning, the girl openly ignores and avoids Guy, afraid to talk to him. Meanwhile, Morg decides to dress the same way as Guy to try to get Faye to like him. Amid recent events, the internet discusses the hottie and believes that Faye is dating Guy and Liu is completely unsuitable for him, as she is artificial, like a doll. Guy slips a note into his robe, trying to ask Liu out on a date, but the girl ignores him. Gaining courage, Guy decides to do it in person, but she is confused. Their communication is interrupted by Saint, who informs him that the girl is already busy since she promised him a date at the perfume museum. Guy is angry with Saint, but he asks to be grateful, since Liu wanted to reject the guy and it would have hurt even more. Noticing how responsibly Liu is preparing for her date with Saint, Anna believes that Guy doesn't stand a chance, but he's not about to give up. On Saturday, Saint and Liu go on a date to a perfume museum, where the girl impresses not only the museum staff, but also famous perfumers. Saint realizes that she would be the perfect employee for his brand, but doesn't want to ruin her life, believing that Liu has a more brilliant future, as all the big companies will want to work with her. Upon returning home, Liu admits that she is in love with Guy and wants to be with him. At the same time, she is against the relationship because she doesn't want the guy to be bullied, claiming that he is dating a plastic doll. Her friends were bullied at school and Liu wants to protect Guy in this way. In the evening, Guy prepares a romantic surprise photo for her and she rushes back to Saint's to talk it out. Realizing that Guy will not give up, Saint asks to give him a chance and start dating. He is criticized, considered a womanizer and a loser, so no one will accuse Liu of dating him. Besides, Saint is also in love with Liu and believes that this is the first and last chance to win the girl and cause her mutual feelings. Starting the next morning, Saint begins to take care of the girl as if they were a couple, although Liu never responded to his proposal to start dating. At the same time, the girl ignores Guy and even returns the gift photos, not wanting to cross paths with him. In class, the teacher gives an assignment to split into pairs and go to a movie to write about it. Liu doesn't find a pair, so she has to agree to go to the movie with Guy. Experiencing financial difficulties, Guy tries to find a job as a tutor to arrange an expensive date for Liu. Taking Saint's advice, he diligently prepares for the date, choosing brightly colored clothes to attract Liu's attention. Once they meet, he arranges a surprise for the girl, and they go to an outdoor movie theater that is full of other entertainment. Liu won't let her pay for herself, as it's not a date, so she refunds the fare and wins a large toy by knocking over all the cans. Unlike the girl, Guy is unsuccessful, so he only gets a small trinket after a dozen failed attempts. During the movie, Guy wants to take the girl's hands, but she hides them. After the movie, he manages to persuade Liu to go to an expensive restaurant, but the price of food here is such that he orders on credit. Liu resents this as she knows that Guy doesn't take money from his parents and owes Saint. Guy assumes that she was making amends by worrying about him and doesn't realize that his mother warned her about it just a few minutes ago. Upon returning home, Linda sets the table and asks her not to blame her for her runaway son, who has no plates and no dishwashing detergent. As the couple does the dishes, his mother takes a picture of them because from the outside, they look like happily married couples. This embarrasses Liu, but she soon gets a shock as Faye confesses to her friend that she loves Guy and asks her to help her be with him. The next morning, Anna offers to switch pairs in chemistry class, but Faye sees this as a chance to spend time with Guy. He wanted to be with Liu, but the plan fell through, so Guy has to put up with the one he hates. After the lesson, Faye tries to seduce the guy and find common interests, but he rudely rejects her again. Despite all the failures of her friend, Liu decides to help her achieve Guy, because only in this way she herself cannot think about him and forget their crush on each other. The next day, Liu asks Guy out on a date, and he drops his studies to spend some time with her. At a restaurant, the couple is joined by Faye and Liu leaves to go to the restroom. Distressed about sending her favorite guy into the hands of another, Liu calls Saint and asks for moral support. At this time, Faye reveals her true face and confesses that it's all her plan to get closer to her boyfriend. She doesn't really love him, but wants the two beautiful people to be together, which will allow them to gain even more popularity. Guy rejects Faye, but Liu tells him that she doesn't and will never love Guy. Saint once again comforts Liu and is supportive, promising to do anything to make her happy. At the same time, Guy gets drunk and gets into a fight, causing him to end up in the police. As it turned out, Fim insulted Liu, calling her a doll, for which he was punched in the face. At the station, the girl exposes the bully, so Fim apologizes to Liu, and Guy takes the statement. Linda talks to the girl and asks her not to cling to standards, because there is no such thing as perfect and you shouldn't be guided by people's opinions. Linda sincerely wants her son to be happy with Liu and asks her to think about everything again. Meanwhile, Faye is live streaming and drives herself to the point of nausea to lose the extra weight. The next morning, it is revealed that Faye and Guy have become top students and can represent the university in the competition. Guy is not at school, but the hottie agrees to become a couple with him, causing gossip to spread again that Guy and Faye are in a relationship. During recess, Anna exposes Faye because the girl is not as rich as she tells her friends and lives in a poor neighborhood. Faye masterfully lies and twists her way out of the situation, forcing her to love her even more. Saint, like a true romantic, gives Liu a bouquet of flowers, but Guy invites her to dialogue. Guy has realized that he can't harm the girl and has to let her go to make her happy, so he is willing to remain friends again. Saint and Liu spend the whole evening together, which makes the students gossip about them even more. The couple is called horrible, but they don't care about other people's opinions, because they are happy around each other. At the end of the date, Saint realizes that he can't use Liu's desire to distance herself from Guy, because she loves this guy, not him. Saint promises to help with employment and the realization of her dreams, but as a friend, because he knows that she will be happy only with Guy. Liu realizes she only wants to be with him and sets out to find the guy. Meeting him at her mother's office, she confesses her love and proposes to start a relationship. Meanwhile, Faye walks through a poor neighborhood and picks up a stray cat from a garbage can, unaware that she is being watched. In the evening, Guy walks Liu home and longs to hold her hand, but is afraid to do so. Seeing Saint, he brags that they are in a relationship, but Guy is not surprised, because he knew about everything in advance and himself pushed Liu into the arms of another. Soon it becomes known about a student party for couples, and Liu promises Guy that they will go together and wear rings symbolizing their love. At the university, Liu has to tell Faye that she and Guy are in a relationship. The pretty girl is greatly injured and hurt, but she can't hit her friend, so she puts up with her. Anna and Guy suspect that Faye gave up too soon and backed off, believing that she is up to something. Upon returning home, Faye crushes a cupcake with Liu's name on it and admits that she hates her. As it turns out, the reason for this is because her mother abused her. Faye was very ugly and fat, so her mother humiliated her by forcing her to change her appearance. The girl worked very hard to be a beauty, but people still did not pay attention to her, envying her classmate who had plastic surgery. At the party, the rings are turned on, but only Guy and Faye's rings shine, claiming they are in a relationship. Liu learns about why Faye is doing this and asks to be friends. Faye rejects the girl as she has achieved everyone's love with money, and Faye has suffered a lot for it due to poverty. Liu realizes that Guy was right all along, calling Faye a bad person. Despite this, she considered her a true friend and would like the girl to change for the better. The friends realize that Faye needs to be exposed, but first it's easier to do it not online, but in real life. Guy has heard that the girl induces bouts of nausea after she eats so she doesn't get better. Knowing this, at the university, he proposes to Faye to share a dessert for two and forces her to try a piece of cake. As expected, Faye heads to the bathroom, and Liu follows her to talk. Faye confesses that image is important to her and she doesn't consider those she socializes with friends. Liu records this on a tape recorder and blackmails Faye, demanding that she break up with Guy in public. Faye doesn't keep her word and in tears begs Guy not to break up with her as she knows Liu deleted the recording for blackmail. The audio of their conversation is published by someone else, causing Faye to be criticized and run away in shame. The next morning, the maniac sends Faye her photos exposing her as a beggar and also posts them on social media. The friends, despite the hurtful truth, decide to protect Faye and help her. Splitting up, they search for the internet maniac and come out on Nini's trail. A friend admits that she posted the recording so Faye wouldn't be a liar, but she didn't take the photo. Guy and Saint soon come to the conclusion that Morgan, in love with Faye and repeatedly rejected by her, is behind everything. All the evidence points to Morg, but the guy proves that he is not a maniac, as he truly loves Faye and wants to be with her. Meanwhile, Faye loses her cat and goes to look for it and meets Jerry. The students continue to analyze the evidence and become convinced that the real maniac is Jerry. A classmate attacks Faye, and the girl has to flee. The friends try to find her, but only hear the girl screaming and see Jerry running away. He pours acid on the girl's face to disfigure her, but luckily Morg mixed up the bottles in the lab and Jerry only poured a weak solution on Faye. Liu calms Faye down, after which the girls exchange slaps and insults. In the end, they conclude that they should not succumb to the conditions of a world obsessed with beauty. They soon become friends and work with their friends to create a new perfume flavor. Mac and Faye reconcile and realize they can be together. Mimi, Saint, and the others also find a relationship in which they feel happy. Guy's parents reconcile and Guy meets Liu to finally ask her out on their first real date where they confess their love for each other.